How we doing?
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Maybe begin with a thought on what you liked in week one and how different will week two be in your eyes for what you do against the Seahawks?
Yeah, I was obviously I liked the way we played. I liked our play style. I thought we were physical, especially up front, and I thought our backs ran with a lot of physicality as well. It was a good start. Obviously, week to week it'll change each week. Obviously we had a game plan set that we felt would give us the best chance to win that game. And each week those game plans will change. But really happy with the way we ran the ball. We thought we could come out and run the football, and it was good to see that we could.
Specifically, what are some thoughts on Andre?
Special. He's a great back. I've been around some good ones, and he's got to be right up there. His contact balance, his vision, his ability, I thought was to make guys miss at the second and third level. That was really impressive. I think we had, I can't remember, yards after contact, we made 14 guys miss from the running back room. So the ability not one to get to the second level and then make guys miss and create explosive gains, I thought that was very impressive. He ran extremely hard. Both backs did.
Alex, what's the biggest difference you've seen from the guy you studied on tape from Andre when you first got here to the one you're now coaching and working with every single day?
You definitely see his running style on tape. From the previous years, he's one of the toughest guys to bring down for sure. I think his ability to make guys miss again at the second level is something that he's been working on, and that showed up in the game.
Alex, when you look at the Seahawks now, I think when it came to runs that weren't quarterback runs for the Broncos last week, like 3 yards per carry or something along those lines, what made them effective defending that part of it?
It's a stout bunch up front. They're big guys. It's an experienced group as well. There's a lot of experience in that defensive line, and I think it's probably one of the strengths of that defense is up front. So obviously it's a challenge for us to come out and be able to run the ball versus a stout front.
Alex,
Carryover that you see with Mike McDonald from his Ravens days that you studied in Cleveland and now.
Yeah, there's definitely carryover. I think it's more of when he came back from Michigan, you see some of the schematic similarities that he's taken now to Seattle. Obviously very well coached defense. They do a great job. Baltimore was one of the toughest defenses we faced in Cleveland last year. So the scheme's similar.
Alex,
Sorry.
how strongly do you feel about your personnel in terms of being able to change up from week to week? If you can't run the ball, you're going to have to pass the ball. How strongly do you feel you'll be able to accomplish that mission?
I think that's one of our identities as an offense for us when we talk about it being multiple and versatile. Again, I always talk about putting our players in the best plays to make them successful, best situations to make them successful when using their skill sets. I've told the guys in the room we might run it 40 times this week and throw it 40 times the next week based on the defense. So I'm very confident in our group. I think our skill group is a talented group. We don't have any huge names outside at receiver, but we got a bunch of guys that make good football plays. So I feel real confident in those guys.
Coach, it was a relatively quiet day for the receivers, but what did you see from that group on tape after you got to watch the film?
Yeah, you see a lot of positives that come out of that. I know one of those being blocking in the run game. It's tough duty to go out there and know that, hey, we're going to run the ball against this team, and you're going to have to go and dig out some safeties. But again, the rewards for them come by putting in that work in the run game. That the possibility of generating explosive plays off of our run actions and our play actions. Just so happened again that week we felt like we were going to have to run the ball to win against that team, and that's what we did.
What's it about the way Jacoby played on Sunday, specifically with how he handled the pressure?
Yeah, I thought it was great. We expected more pressure. We didn't see as much pressure from Lou as we thought we would get, especially on third downs. But I thought Jacoby played within himself. There's a couple throws I know he would want back that he may have missed. But for the most part, I thought he put us in position to win the game. He knew how we were going to win that game, and he played to that.
As Jacoby is standing on the sideline, what do you want him to learn? What's the teaching moment or teaching points there?
I think the biggest thing is just every moment he has a chance to learn. It's just whether it's in the meeting room, it's in the practice field running the scout team, it's on the sideline, it's in the pregame meetings, just understanding the process. And I think Jacoby's a great teacher in that regard. He can learn a ton just from the meeting we had today, the questions that Jacoby asks. And he's a sponge, so he sits there and he takes it all in. He's doing great on the field as well. So, but for him, just every experience is a learning experience for him.
You mentioned in the beginning that you mentioned in the beginning that you liked the way you played. It was physical. Were you at all surprised how well you were able to control the line of scrimmage and how well really the offensive line gelled in game one?
No, because that's stuff we've seen throughout practice. I think we're getting better. We're continuing to grow. I thought about it after the game. We're still not there on all the techniques that we're using and teaching, but you see them come out, in the play style and the way we're doing things up front. Realistically, we've only been in pads through training camp, how many padded practices that is. So I see us to continue to grow. The more games we get under our belt, the more live action, full pads, full contact, these techniques will get cleaned up, and I think we'll get better as the year goes on.
How challenging is this Seattle defensive front with the way they mix up their pass rush packages, and you have to sort of stay on top of that and set the right protections?
Yeah, for sure. There's protection issues. They do a good job. Obviously, the scheme is strong. There'll be some calls we'll have to make from a protection standpoint. But again, it's about the one-on-one matchups. They try to create one-on-one matchups with your line, and they have some good players. So it'll be a good challenge for us this week in the pass protection.
Alex, when you reviewed your play calling from week one, what were things that you did from that standpoint, things that you want to provoke?
Without getting into specifics, there were some more things that I'd like to have on the call sheet that I did not have in this game, and I think we put some of those in this call sheet. Just felt like there were some times when I wanted to do something differently, and I didn't have it on the sheet. So this week it's more of a complete sheet.
What did you see from the play action passing game in week one? And it seemed like there was a couple that maybe you could have pushed it down the field. Just like, how do you kind of weigh that?
Yeah, there were some plays that we had guys open down the field. But again, there was going back to one situation in the red zone. It was a third down, and we had the lead, and we were in field goal range. So if that's a game that's on the line, I think we make those throws. But again, Jacoby having the experience to understand where we were, what position we were in that game, and then playing to that was key to us winning.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.